Hey y'all, what's one of the quickest ways to kill a healthy workplace relationship? Make assumptions. Make more assumptions and then continue to build on those assumptions until the made up story in your head actually becomes real to you. Oh, the great news is that a simple remedy awaits. Ask questions. A typical conversation that I have with a manager goes something like this. The manager says, Chris is either totally chipper in our meetings or really closed off. I know it's because I think I'm a bad boss. To which I reply with, have you ever asked Christopher why they show up differently for you at different times? And then the manager typically says, no. Y'all, whether we are a manager, an employee, or just a human in relationship at work, when conflict arises, we tend to use our brilliant imaginations to make up not so brilliant assumptions about any number of things. And because we're often right and we want to avoid conflict, we tend to believe that the story we've made up in our head is the full truth. And it is all too easy to move forward without ever checking our assumptions. Unfortunately, this has a negative and cumulative impact on our workplace relationships, and they can suffer in unforeseen ways as a result. But let's get back to that simple remedy. As humans working into right relationship, we can break this habit by doing two things. One, we can learn to notice when we're making an assumption about another person or about a conflict in general. And then we can ask questions. Our assumptions might be right. They might be wrong. Either way, the most important thing is that we check it out sooner than later. So let's do a quick coaching exercise to practice this. We'll start with the first step, noticing. I want you to think of a workplace conflict or a challenging relationship that you have. And if you don't manage people, this could be with a colleague or even with your boss. Let me give you some ideas to let you know what I'm thinking about here. So for example, you could say, my boss is regularly 15 minutes late to our meetings. I used to do that all the time. Or whenever I do a presentation, people are totally zoned out. Okay, got your conflict? Now I want you to think of all the things that you're telling yourself about this situation. I realize that this could be an exhaustive list, so if you need to hit pause and take a moment to write things down, go ahead and do that. Let's get back to our examples. So my boss is regularly 15 minutes late to our meetings because they don't value my work, or because they don't have time for me, or they don't want me to succeed. Or Chris is either hot or cold in our meetings because they think I'm a bad boss, or because, I know they dislike me, or because I know they wanted Susan to get this job and not me. Okay, have you thought of all the things that you're telling yourself? Now, I want you to think of a question that can get to the heart of the matter. Here's a tip. The best way to check our assumptions is to ask an open-ended question that really leaves enough space for the other person's experience to emerge. Let's go back to Chris. So instead of saying, Chris, do you hate me? You could say something like, hey, Chris, I notice in our meetings that sometimes you're really chipper and other times you're just closed off. And that leaves me feeling really unsure about our workplace relationship. Rather than make up something in my head about what was going on, I thought I would ask, can you help me understand? What? My perfume nauseates you? Oh, why didn't you tell me sooner? Yes, of course I can skip the Axe body spray. All right, you did it. You named a challenging workplace relationship or conflict, and you noticed the stories that you were telling yourself about it. And then you asked an open-ended question to check your assumptions and really get to the heart of the matter. Now I have one more piece for you in this coaching exercise. With your open-ended question in mind, how about checking your assumptions and having a direct conversation with the person you were thinking of? As the conversation unfolds, Continue to ask more open-ended questions so that you can really gain an understanding of their perspective. And once you've done that, we want to know how it went. You could respond to this post on social media or send us an email. We really want to hear about you taking another step into right relationship at work. If that exercise helped you think differently about your workplace relationships, how about signing up for our interactive Being Human Management training starting March 21st here in Asheville?